Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus is back again. Why? Because I got something fantastic to tell you. Are you listening? Are you ready for something that's fantastic? Here we go. I represent the poor people. Poor people are those people who have dreams and aspirations that seem never to come true. It doesn't mean that they don't have some good times, but they usually don't have the kind of access to the basics of human rights like food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and etc. It's like they might have access to some of it, but not the best of it. It's like someone is always getting a better education, more attention than others. So I'm representing those who are denied the best. I represent those on the streets, those who have been considered as losers, the very poor who don't have homes. And I'm part of that community. I wanted to make sure that I went to school and got a little education so I would never have to be a part of that community. That is when I did not understand what was going on. But I got a little education. You know, I don't have those degrees that indicate I was so concerned about learning as much as I could about what other people had said. But I was interested enough in that which I was exposed to. And most of that was real, not in books. And it brought me to the point that one of the most important things that I saw in life was to the eradication of the basic problems of crime and violence and lying and cheating and hating and racism. To me, these are things that every individual should be concerned about eradicating from their society. I mean, who would want to live with all of this stuff going around? Well, I can say 300 million of us or more in America live through it every day. And around the world, I won't even begin to imagine that. But this, even with the limited amount of education that comes from books, but an insurmountable education that comes from life, I'm able to stand before America and say that I appreciate everything that you do. It's you geniuses, you think tankers, and those who are coming up with ideals. I really want to say I want to appreciate what you have done. But it's time for me, speaking from where I am at, it's time for that to stop. You see, my message comes, and those who got any amount of money don't want to hear a word I got to say. And the reason that they don't is because we as human beings in America, and I would gather around the world, knows that in any things that you are interested in life, similar as the things I mentioned earlier, like food, clothing, shelter, education, all of these things, it takes money to get that. And if you don't have money, you're not going to get that. And in order to get money, usually you got to have a job that pays enough money for you to do those kinds of things. But there are many people in this society who never get paid that amount of money, and they will never do those kinds of things. And yet, in this society, there are those who get paid so much as far as amounts of money is concerned that they don't have anything to do with it. If it were still in barns, they would just be running over. Some of them, they would have amassed so much wealth or money. Yes. Whew. Anyway, you got to have enough money, again, to make those purchases. And if you don't have that amount of money to do that, then you won't be able to have your basic human rights. You won't get a chance to experience that. And yet these barns are running over with money, just money. So a person can say, I'm the richest man alive. We're the richest people alive. And I think about all of the efforts that have been made in the past to try to make some kind of adjustment so that the people who are being denied their basic human rights won't have to be denied that. And people have fought for ways that they might be able to eliminate those obstacles. And one of the ways we're trying to vote, have a voice, and yet there's an effort trying to deny that, gerrymandering, trying to do different things, make it impossible or so inconvenient for people to vote so you can. And so what it says to me, with all of the obstacles and all the efforts that are made, all of the obstacles and all of the efforts that are made to eliminate these obstacles, when I look at the human race in America, I see black people, I see white people, I see men, and I see women. I see children, and I see old folk. And I see also, amongst every last one of them, requiring certain things. I'm saying requiring food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and transportation, and a place to live. And a job so they can be eligible and entitled to. This is what I see. And when I see anything that prevents that, I don't care how good some of you got it. I don't care how much money some of you got it. But as long as I see people suffering and on the ground sleeping, and you who got some trying to badmouth them and talk against them, then that me, one of them, want to tell you what I see. I see that if every individual can't enjoy those basic human rights in America, men and women, black and white, as I described it, if they cannot experience that, then it is the responsibility of everybody to deal with that problem and get rid of it. And if they cannot, if they choose to say, well, we'll go along with this, with one people suffering, then no one in America got the right to live. That one person that you say is okay to suffer, and you don't care about fixing the problem, not even looking into the matter, that gives you a forfeiture of your right to exist. So you might think you're all of that. But to the poor, those who are hurting the most, to them, you do not have the right to live. And that's black and white, that's men and women, that's Republicans and Democrats and everything else, haters and preachers and everything on the face. If you don't care enough about any one person, then that alone forfeits your right to live.